Welcome to Toot Your Own Horn, Music Matters. Today I am here with the wonderful Myroslava Hagen. Hello, Myroslava.
Hi, Lisa. Thanks so much for having me today.
I'm thrilled to have you, and I can't wait to hear your story. How does it begin?
Well, I have to say, I had to take a week to reflect on this because it's a long journey. Like most of us start music when we're tiny, right? This is our beginning. So, my story actually starts with the beginnings on the violin. And I was actually watching Kristen's episode with you, and she started on violin as well. So I was like, there's a lot of us clarinetists that are violinists as well. So this happened when I was 4.5. There was a show called Sesame Street. We all heard of Sesame Street, and Itzhak Perlman was actually on an episode that I'd watched at my grandma's house. And so the story goes is that I got home from my grandma's house and sat on our like stairs to go up into our house with a phone book and kept crying until my mom found me a violin teacher. So like watching Itzhak Perlman was like the pivotal moment of like, I want to play music, mom, and it has to happen now. So my mom ended up finding a Suzuki program in Minneapolis. That was great, and that's kind of the starts of my passion for music. My parents weren't musicians. My dad played the accordion, and my mom played the piano. But my sister did play the clarinet as well. So I'm pretty sure that this was like a new rodeo for everybody in the family, like having a Suzuki kid, because that's a whole nother level of commitment. So,
Was your
I
sister
don't,
younger, or is your sister younger or older than you?
my sister's older than me, so she's about 8 years older, and she's actually a musician as well. She's a band teacher, in Minnesota. So we both did a lot of music growing up. Um, But clarinet came a little bit later. So, because we didn't start clarinet at 4.5.
Right.
So, our school district didn't have an orchestra program. So, in sixth grade, we all got tested for our band instruments. And my band teacher at the time was like, you'd be a great clarinet player. So, I was like, okay. Like, I liked the clarinet. It was great. And I still remember to this day summer band in sixth grade. It was like every day for a week, we had like these group lessons with the band director, who was also a clarinet player. Her last name was Carlson. She was fantastic since she's retired, but it was really amazing to start the clarinet just in band. And the group lessons kind of got us all kick-started. And,
Are you still
clarinet.
playing violin?
Good question. No, I since have hung it up.
Were you playing it when you started band?
Yep. So I played it. I played it almost through my doctorate, actually,
Really?
which is really crazy. So violin was my primary instrument
Yeah.
for quite some time. Like I didn't take dedicated clarinet lessons with an amazing teacher in the Minneapolis area until high school. And at that point, I just kind of tagged on to my sister's lessons and got a half an hour lesson as well before I became more dedicated in getting my own lessons with
And you
her.
take
So
the violin the whole time?
I took violin the whole time. I was product of Suzuki, so all the Suzuki books and all the recitals and all of the group lessons and everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so music was something, clarinet was something that you just did for fun, basically. It sounds like violin for a long time was your passion.
Yeah, it's where it all started. The violin, it taught me a lot because Suzuki teaches you a lot of great habits from a very young age, practicing, dedication to practicing every day, group lessons and playing with others. So Suzuki really was the start of it for me. Suzuki also, I took violin lessons from a gal from the Minnesota Orchestra for a long time, actually, as well, and played in Minnesota Youth Symphonies on the violin. So it was a huge part of my life, all the way through my degrees, to be honest.
That's amazing. I never would have guessed that. That is a cool story. And so how did that tug of war go? How did you wind up getting more involved in clarinet?
Yeah, so clarinet, because we didn't have like school orchestra,
Right.
clarinet was where like all my friends were. All band program, all the kids that I knew and hung out with were band kids. So I played in marching band, played in pep band. I was also really fortunate to get an all-state band as a senior as well. So clarinet was really kind of becoming my passion because that's where all of my friends were and the community that I grew up with were all, band kids and musicians. And you know, I was lucky enough, like I just mentioned, like to go to Concordia or to audition for Allstate.
Right.
And that year, Allstate was being hosted at Concordia College. I think we used to like rotate amongst the universities or something. But that year was at Concordia College. So I got to spend a week playing the clarinet dedicated to that and studying with Lee from Concordia College. And that was kind of where I was like, you know what? I'm going to major in music. I don't know if it's going to be clarinet or violin yet, but geez, that's what I want to do. I want to major in music.
What made the light go on?
For clarinet or for music?
Just music.
I think I just loved being surrounded by everybody else with the same passion as me. Like you always talk to people and like athletes or musicians, and they always surround themselves by like people, right? Like-minded people. And this was being an All-State that week. And I even went to Bands of America for a week. And it's just being surrounded by the community that you feel most comfortable in and the community that you feel like you belong in.
Yeah.
And that made the light bulb go off to say, okay, I'm going to go to college and I'm going to major in music.
Now, at this point, your sister was already in college, or
She was, yep. She went to another college in Minnesota as well, and she actually majored in music performance and education as well. So she did a double major.
did she have a big influence on you, or
Yes, I would say it was more competitive influence. Like you always want to be better than your siblings, so you try like to do a million other things that your sibling never did. So she drove me to, I think, be better. You know what I mean? To try more things and to try to do different things than what she did. But she was an all-state band. She did piano and that kind of thing growing up as well.
but the gap
But
was
yeah,
probably sizable enough that she wasn't like a daily influence because you guys were 8 years apart.
we were there's quite a big gap there.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Um, But even in college, I took violin lessons. So I went to Concordia, which is a great liberal arts school, and I took lessons in violin and clarinet. And I played clarinet in the band, violin in the orchestra. And the pivotal moment that made me want to do like clarinet, all of a sudden I thought, you know what? You have to choose, Myroslava. Like everybody was sitting me down. Myroslava, you got to choose. Myroslava, you got to choose. Like you can't do everything anymore, Myroslava. Like it's just not going to work. Like you have to be good in one thing. You can still have passions for other stuff, but you really have to like focus yourself. And so everybody talked to me and I was like, you know, I think clarinet's my voice. I really got along with my clarinet teacher so well. He was a huge influence and he was such a great fostering person for me that I was like, you know, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go all clarinet. Like, this is what I'm going to do. So I doubled down on practicing clarinet. I doubled down on taking opportunities like that my teacher gave me for master classes and performing in all the groups I could. Because as a small institution, you can play in as many things as you possibly had time to do, you know. And so yeah, even though a few people were like, you know, Myroslava, there's more violins in an orchestra than clarinets. Not like
right. There's that.
like, but I was like, heck, this is my passion. Like this is where it's gonna be, and this is what makes me happy every day.
Yeah. With all that Suzuki, I don't know that I have talked to anyone who played violin before they played clarinet, to be perfectly honest. Piano, yes.
Yeah.
That. And so I don't really know anyone who went through the Suzuki program. I mean, I know the strength of Suzuki, but in terms of bringing it to clarinet, what does it do? I'm sure it helped you profoundly. Like,
I'm sure it did. I probably slept on my clarinet. No, I don't know. There's so many things. It was like, you know, having guided practice that early in life, it teaches you how to prepare yourself, how to practice. A great thing about Suzuki is that you had to play all these recitals, like you didn't have an option. So like I was performing at a very young age. So those like super nervous jitters or people get super
yeah,
like afraid to do certain things, that was kind of instilled as a young player for me. Also ear training was really great.
yeah.
Um, I actually tried out for NYS, which is like an orchestra in Minnesota, and I couldn't sight read when I was like in the 7th grade because everything was like orally given to me. And so that was a big thing. Like I couldn't read music until I was way later. Like I read clarinet music far quicker than violin stuff. So um it gave you a lot of work ethic, a lot of great things. And um I think it helps a lot in a lot of my kids do Suzuki brass now. So it's like I think Suzuki's a great program for young students when you can't, you know, start on your own instrument or whatever. Um
That's amazing.
yeah.
So you own a violin.
I gave it to my sister because my niece played violin for a while. So it's somewhere in the family as an heirloom.
That's awesome.
Um,
And so when you went to Concordia, you became a clarinet. It was you said your sophomore year? When did you
It
decide?
was like my sophomore year. Yep, my sophomore year, I decided, it's time to buckle down, and I still had great opportunities on the violin. Like I played with Mannheim Steamrollers and did some gigs, and still played in the lower orchestra on the violin, but really doubled down on practicing and deciding that, this is what I want to do. And I recall during Concordia, because this is a smaller town in Fargo Moorhead, I got hired to do some sub work with the Fargo Moorhead Symphony. And actually, it's so funny because during this podcast, I found my old practice journal I used to have when I was like super small. But
So cute.
I was hired back then to do some second clarinet work. And I have to quote this because it's very interesting. This is like younger me. This week had been like if it were my dream world. And with this experience, it just makes me want the incentive to work harder and learn as much as I can so that I can one day sit in an orchestra. So like so many opportunities as an undergrad to better myself and give me the time and opportunity to play in some great um, groups.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So were you then focused on orchestra auditions, or what happened as you're leaving college?
Yeah, so I did not take many. I don't think I took one orchestra. I think I took one orchestra audition. I honestly don't remember. But I had kind of been focused on being a collegiate professor. That was kind of my thing that I wanted to do. So I went to the University of Utah, um, and got my master's in clarinet performance. And then right after that, I went to the University of Arizona and I got my DMA in clarinet performance and a minor in research, information, and library sciences.
Oh, what
Of all
prompted
things.
that?
Um, I was interested in potentially maybe one day doing like orchestral librarianship or something like that. So it kind of opened an avenue to get a minor in something other than music theory or history, to
Yeah.
be honest. And so, um, during my grad work, I was ABD, meaning I had everything done but my dissertation 2010, and then it took me another 8 years to finish my dissertation. So,
Well, that's you're not alone. I hear tons.
right. So in 2018, I finally finished my DMA, which I was really grateful that my family was supportive in telling me to get it done. And I think getting my DMA was really cool. It was a great experience. I learned a lot. I played a lot. I had great teachers. And I think most importantly, they say when you get your DMA, you should really like better your profession. Like I think that's right with your papers and with your research. And I was really fortunate enough to work with David Mislanka to help to commission the concerto for clarinet, which was literally kind of cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was part of your DMA. That's amazing.
Yeah, that was my dissertation.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so yeah, it's kind of a wild journey, right? Like starting violin at 4.5 and then just continuing on everything music until I had to buckle down and really funnel my energy into one area.
I relate to that. I played piano all the way through high school and I went to Interlochen and struggled to also choose. So I graduated from Interlochen a year young because I skipped fifth grade. And so I had to catch up on clarinet. Like I stopped a whole year practicing clarinet because I realized four voices are three too many.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's kind of the same thing as it was like catch up on clarinet. Like
yeah.
it's like everybody else had lessons in sixth, seventh, eighth grade, like started buckling down, and I was still like, okay, well, I'll play violin and side of clarinet, and
Yeah. But the Suzuki stuff is really cool. Like I always have been curious by Suzuki and I never had a reason because I just didn't learn Suzuki. So, but Suzuki feels like a really natural way to learn and to fall in love with playing music.
it totally is. And I think anytime Suzuki can be a part of it, I'm 100% sold on like the program, like
Everybody,
for young.
I'm always sold on it, but it's just very cool. So then what happened? So between the time that you graduated from your master's and you got your doctorate, how did your career unfold?
Yeah, that's where it kind of took some like, waves and turns. And was ABD in 2010, and I moved back to Utah, and I was like, geez, I have to find a job and do something. So, you know, there weren't any university positions open. So I was like, well, what else can I do in music? And I had applied to the local music store, as a temp and thought, okay, this is great. Like, I love music. I love teaching. I like helping people. So like this kind of gives you everything you can do all at once and still be a part of like the musical journey of everything. So I applied to the local music store, got a temporary job, and then became a road rep and serviced the schools in this area. And during this time, I was still teaching a load of like 30, 35 students at home.
Mhm.
So I was still teaching quite a few private students, which I absolutely love to do. I took on a few just recently just because I miss teaching.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch students and young people just like grow and like learn and taking them through the process to become great players. So I started there. I took a little hiatus and did personnel management actually with the Utah Symphony. I was like, oh, this might be a great career opportunity to work with the symphony musicians, and went back into retail after about a year of that. I just learned for me it wasn't the right place. I'm like genuinely a person that I feel like help wants to be like a helper and I want to like educate. I want us to like make a difference. And that just wasn't the right place to do that for me, as myself. So went back into um the retail world and continued to be like a clarinet specialist and an ed rep. And this opportunity came up with ESA Music Company to apply to do clarinet product management. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a super opportunity
Yeah.
because it's focused just on clarinet, not delivering tubas and trombones and everything at that point. And I, decided to give it a whirl. So that's kind of how the retail side of me started and coming into this product management side, which is a really cool place to be. I can't think of any other um, job that I've done where I could have like impact in so many different ways,
Yeah.
uh, and still be a part of the music community at large. It's really kind of cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. And there are so few women. You and I also share that love of retail or a love of helping people because I've been in retail forever, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I understand that, but there are very few of us that are wired like this. Why is that? How can we wire more women like this?
I don't know. Suzuki, more Suzuki.
I didn't do Suzuki though. I don't know where it came from.
I'm really fortunate because at Eastman we have quite a few ladies on the team, and it's really great because we all have that same passion and drive. And I think music teaches a lot of us that. Like there's so many life skills in our careers that we can use that just cross over to other careers or cross over to other aspects of life that I mean, even now when I practice, I still do like, play it correctly 3 times in a row. Otherwise, you should start over again. Well,
Exactly.
I use that for my daughter in golf. So I think there's like so many, more musicians, more female musicians is a good thing.
Oh my God, Clark Brody. I took lessons my freshman year at Northwestern with Clark Brody, and Clark Brody beat that into me. He had that exact rule. You need to be able to play this from beginning to end without making any mistakes. Anywhere you make a mistake, you have to go back to the beginning. And if you do it once, do it 2 more times. I mean, seriously, and it just about killed me at first, and then it really, you know, and then I could just whiz through everything because I understood what the bar was. But oh my God, that's
Yeah, I still tell my students find 3 things because we'll put them on your stand and we'll push them over when go to the next thing. But I think, yeah, I mean, there's so many things that you can do in the music industry that combine all of your passions, as a person, as a player, as a teacher. And I think this is like the perfect setting where you can take all those passions and do it all. So it's really kind of cool. And yeah, I'm really grateful. Like I just am very grateful.
how do you help and nurture people into the retail side of it? Because the products and services you have are really great and strong, and yet I feel like our industry is lacking more people like you that are on the retail side that are dealing with the general public to be able to support the need. Because that's the number one issue I see is that people don't have enough quality advice and support, and it feels like there's lots of room to improve there just to help our industry.
Yeah, I feel like in general, like we can all be improving, like in every aspect of our careers and retail or product management or whatever. But I feel like every time I go out in the field, I think you have to make a difference and you have to like have impactful interactions with like customers or with sales associates and give them the tools to become their own experts. I think it's all about educating these people to become their own experts and giving them the tools so that they can speak just as eloquently as another person about a product or get excited about a product because they heard it, being performed or whatever that is. So I think it's I think it's the interactions and being very meaningful with your time that you spend with whoever. Like every individual is here for a different reason, and they might be in the industry for like 5 months, but during those 5 months, you want them to be the best. So that's kind of how I do it.
Yeah, I just really admire that because it's such a needed skill, and we all know that people love to play music when they are encouraged by someone and nurtured by someone who knows enough about it to help them do that, because everybody's had role models that are still here and that are working in the industry that have been very dominant and strong to help them do that, right?
That's so true.
It really matters. It really, from the music store level, it really matters that, these music stores commit to letting there be a wind specialist or a part-time wind specialist or a part-time clarinet person or a part-time saxophone flute, whatever, because it really does help inspire the community to want to come in and look at whatever products they have, even if they're just getting started, right? It doesn't mean they have a full line of product. It's just to help people get started. And there's so many ways to do that to inspire your community to play the clarinet, the flute, the saxophone, whatever.
Oh, totally. Like even when I was working retail, like I have so many um I just had to be so grateful that I was given the opportunity to like my first few weeks of the job. They were like, "Okay, Myroslava, you're a clarinet player." I was like, "Well, yeah, I'm a clarinet player." They're like, "Well, here's the wall of clarinets. You need to play through everything." And I was like, "Okay, I can do that for a day's worth of work. How exciting is that?" So even like that, those small things where if you can find a clarinetist within a like a organization or a store, lean on that person to like to help you, you know what I mean? To help understand the clarinet more. And that's what I was allowed to do at the music store is that I became kind of the go-to clarinet person at the store. So even though I was a road rep.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
It's really a valuable skill. If somebody was listening to this podcast and just loved your story, what would you say to them to try to inspire them to play a wind instrument?
If they're like in the young ages of growing up and that kind of thing, they're to start band, my suggestion would be to try everything. I said, you just don't know what instrument's going to speak with you. I know there's some places where they say, okay, we can only have 15 flute players, so that's it. But
Right.
I think anytime you have the opportunity to try everything, because we're all so unique, and my voice is different than your voice, or my sister's voice. Well, we were the same, but my kids are brass players. Like they just didn't gravitate to this clarinet, even though they ran around with E flat clarinets. So I think it's like find your voice. And even if your best friend or your colleague is like a clarinetist and they're like, you should play the clarinet so we could sit by each other, find what makes you you. And then like explore it, right? Make sure you listen to like tons of recordings. Like that's one thing Lee always told me, like listen to every recording you can listen to, good and bad, you know? And then just surround yourself by those people that will make you a better player or a better clarinetist or flute player or whatever. Um, but I think that's the biggest thing is to find your voice. Like I say that to a lot of people. You have to find your voice on whatever it is you're going to do. And don't be shy to like try something other than, your friend's instrument of choice or what your parents think you might should play. Disclaimer, parents, it's okay. But um and then just find joy in your practicing every day and find joy in doing it and find ways to get better.
What about all those adults out there that either didn't get the chance to participate or played a really, really long time ago and feel really out of touch with music and may or may not have a local store that has any connection or a lot of connection to maybe the band? Maybe they've got guitar stores or not that thing. What would you tell them to do?
If you want to get back into playing, it's never too late. I work with these people quite a bit, where they're getting back into playing or they've been playing for like 60 years or whatever. It's never too late. And it's never too late to take lessons either. Like if you're so out of shape that you're like, geez, I don't even remember how to put this reed on right. Like go to the phone book like I did when it's 4.5, or sorry, go to Google and find a teacher. So many people teach online these days, in person, that kind of thing. But I think it's never too late, and never too late and if there's someplace that's not nearby, I mean, just go to Google. We have so many resources at our disposal now than we did have when I was looking on the phone book when I was 4.5, that that it's easy. And I think just don't be shy to start up again. It's
Yeah,
never
and
too late.
don't be afraid to call your local high school, local middle school, local college, community college. Call the band director, call the clarinet professor, call the saxophone, whoever, and just tell them trying to find a resource. Musicians are super helpful and friendly, and will always go out of their way most of the time to try to help you find something.
That's true. I had to give you one story really quickly, is that speaking about like going out of their way is like, and being resourceful, like when I was in my undergrad, we had taken a trip to New York. And at that point, I was like, okay, I have to study with everybody. I need to find lessons with everybody. So I did the same thing. Like, I just emailed Charlie Neidick, of all things, and was like, you don't know me, but I would love a lesson with you. And he was like, okay, here's the time if you can come to my studio. And it was like a super snowy day. I remember this like crazily, like it was yesterday. It was like so cold. My reeds were all junk. It was like, and I, traveled up to the studio and took a lesson. And um, that's, at whatever age you are, just there's so many resources and so many people. And I was just reaching out while I was in the area. So, yeah,
A new network of friends. Always good to make friends.
that is very true. Yeah.
Yeah. Myroslava, I really appreciate you doing this with me. Thank you so much. I know it was hard to schedule. I really appreciate you taking the time because I know your schedule is insane.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. And
You
I'm
too.
super happy that we could do this, because you made me really reflect on my last umpteen years. Like, I had to really reflect on, geez, what happened throughout all those years of music making. So it's actually been really good for me, a good little journey for myself.
Oh, well, good. I appreciate that. And I'm just hoping to reach more people because I want all of us to get more business and sell more clarinets and flutes and saxophones. And I want more people to come into the fold, not in the non-musical circle.
That's,
The non-
yeah, why not? Like,
That's what I'm trying to
I'll
do.
play music. Music is a good thing.